Good morning, everyone. Thank Crunchy, it's Friday. So today we have a Fiat, you can hardly see the badge, a Punto. Oh, it's a fancy one. It's an Evo. So this is a little 1.2 or 1.4 engine. Not really sure. Is this a fire engine? F-I-R-E. Anyway, a couple of problems with it. We had to put a new O2 sensor on it. You can see there, down at the bottom. But there's another fault. It's quite interesting. That's why I'm bringing you along for the ride. So here we go. The customer's complaint about this one is the check engine light is on, but he said he's lived with that for a long while. But his primary complaint is the brakes are awful. It's like having hardly any assistance. He says it's like driving a Ford Fiesta back in the 80s. And if any of you were there, that was a real bad experience. Never mind, we got used to it. Good days. So let's attack that. See that the light's on. And we've only got one code in it since we got rid of the lambda code. So the code we have is a P0555-14. Brake vacuum pressure switch circuit short to ground or open. So I cleared that code, and when you crank the car, it comes right back. But as you can see, it's not an active code, it's a stored code. So it's like the event happens when you crank it, but as soon as it gets started, it goes to store. But what I thought we would do is pop into OBD and just check, is that really the code that's bringing the light on, and is that the description? So we're into generic OBD, so let's go OK. Read fault code. We've got Fiat listed here. Fiat. So there you go, P0555 brake booster pressure sensor circuit. Well, look, that's interesting. It says it current. So let's have a little look. I think this is the brake booster pressure sensor circuit. Difficult shot. See that just in the centre of the picture there? Can't see it myself. So it's just above there. There's an electrical connector on it. So what I think I'm going to do is disconnect that and see what fault code comes up. So we'll clear the fault and disconnect that, and I'll show you. Into here. So we'll go clear fault mode. Yes. Yes. Read fault code. No fault codes. Yes. So go and disconnect that. So as you can see, what I've disconnected is a little 2-pin connector. I'm assuming that's it. So with a simple switch, it goes on up the back there. So let's see what fault code's generated. Read fault code. Maybe need to be started first before it'll generate anything. So there we go. So yes. So let's crank the car. Let's see if the light comes on. The light's actually not coming on. Right, so let's read the fault code. So I can hardly get my words out. So I am on the correct circuit. So we need to monitor that circuit to see what's happening during crank. We'll go back into manufacturer's OB. Oh, it's a bad morning. I can hardly get my words out, which is no like me. But anyway, we'll go back into manufacturer's data and see what it says. So in manufacturers, you see it's exactly the same code. It says brake vacuum pressure switch, circuit short to ground or open, and that's active. As you can remember, when I went into the last time, the code came up, but it said it was stored. So we're going to wonder if this is actually a sensor fault or it's a vacuum issue. So the very fact he's complaining about his brakes being very hard, you would think maybe it's a vacuum issue rather than a sensor issue. So let's do a quick test. Here's what we can do. So I was thinking, when we start the car, does the brake pedal get soft? So here we go. I've got my foot in the brake. Let's start her. Yep, she does. Oh, but you hear that stumble? Oh. It's like maybe an air leak, but we certainly have assistance. We'll have a little hunting, but then again, we'll have put a new O2 sensor on it. Do it again. The vacuum disappears very quickly. Right, let's try it again. What it says, start, stop, unavailable. Now, I'm wondering actually if this has got a traditional vacuum pump. Sorry, just a servo that runs off the engine. It gathers its vacuum for the inlet manifold, or maybe it's something fancy. Let's go and have a look. So I've plugged that brake vacuum pressure switch back in. So let's go and clear the code. Clear fault memory. Yes. Okay. Read fault code. DTC. No faults. So let's crank her and see if she comes back again. Right. The light's not on yet. Let's come back. Read DTCs. Nothing yet. Read fault codes again. Nothing yet. Let's go into the data and see about brake booster. Right, so contact close pressure. Oh, is that greater than 470 millibars? Stop start deactivation for brake booster is no. Redundant switch pedal, no, no, and no. So let's hit the brake and see what we get. Here we go. Brake on. So that says yes, yes, no. Contact closed. So contact closed, pressure greater than 470 millibar. Brake on. That doesn't change. Oh, contact open pressure. What did that say? Greater than 300 millibar. So when I hit that pedal, it's working at the moment, I would say. So brake pedal in fault, no. Main brake pedal pressed, yes. Redundant switch brake pedal pressed, yes. Start stop activation for brake booster, no. And then we hit the brake booster, it says, oh, that did go yes, but oh, there it go, yes. Oh, that one flashed there. Any lights on yet? Not on yet. So nothing at the moment. Let's go back. Read fault codes. It's intermittent. Note. So let's read data stream. We'll give it a few cranks. Right. So stop the car. I'll put it down at the side here. Right. Key in hand. Start the car. Nothing yet. We'll graph all these when we do that. Brake pedal on. Oh, the graphing's useless. No. Maybe me disconnect it and reconnect it, maybe got rid of the fault. No sure. Just have one more read of the codes. Oh man, should never have touched it. Right, let's drive about, see if it reoccurs. Connected into that switch, and I'm on the, sorry I can't show you this, the black wire. So you can see that's 14.3 volts. So I'm going to step on the pedal and see if that changes. I would assume it wouldn't because I think that's the supply. So that's the, on the black wire you can see it's a constant 14.2 volts. So I'm going to step on the pedal and see if there's any changes. Step on the pedal. On. So I don't think there was any changes, but the fault is back, so let's go and see it. As you can see, the light's back on. Let's read the fault code. DTC. Brake vacuum pressure switch, circuits short to ground or open stored. Right, so let's go into our data again. Brake pedal fault, no. So what's happening here is very intermittent. So let's go another PID and see what this is. So I'm on the other side of the switch. That's a white wire, I think that was. I'll leave that there. So I'm going to press the brake pedal and see if that changes its status. I'll review the footage and see if it did. Right, so we've put the scope on that wire to see what happens when we crank it over. So Roddy's got to crank this. And I don't know how this works, no unless it waits to a threshold for the pressure. So here goes. So that's the car started, so we'll be looking for pressure. Oh, there it goes. So it goes right up to 14 volts. Put the car off, Roddy. Oh, and then it gave a cut. Oh, right enough. We'll be cutting the circuit. Is that the car back on, my man? Aye, start it again. So that's it. And it should build up. So to me, the car will be looking for a set amount of time to go over that threshold, and I think that's what's setting the fault code. So I think maybe more vacuum related, because the customer had complained about hard brakes rather than that sensor being at fault. It'll be a code setting criteria. Right, put the foot in the brakes. Off the brakes. On the brakes. Wait, I maybe need to move to the graphic multimeter, Roddy. Right. On the brakes, Roddy. Off. So we get a wee blip and then back on and up. On. Off. So I don't know if it's getting under that pressure or no. Just do it on and off quick. Right. The brake feels softer. Oh, it cut out. No, that was me. Alright. But it goes hard off it quick. Do you see that? You didn't even get 2 or 3 pumps out it. Right? Because your foot sinks, eh? Right, so that's you back up. Hit the brakes. So is that your foot still on the brakes? Right. Right, off. On. Off. Nothing. So the other time it was dropping out, but this time it's no dropping out. Aye. Aye, lack of vacuum. Lack of servo assistance. No. The switch is only reporting back what it's doing. Right, everybody. I would like to say Roddy the man found it, but no today. Sandy the boy did. So look at this in here. We'll zoom in. This servo is corroded. So there was no point blaming the sensor when it was the servo. Right, we'll go and price one of these up. Right, that may be a bit of false alarm. That rust down there, so that bit we took off, I don't think that is it. But see at the top of that servo, which is difficult to see, there is rust. So Roddy's got to start the car. Right. Right, just stop it, Roddy. And we can hear like air off and it goes away immediately, but it could actually be it's difficult, Roddy, it could actually be the throttle. Do it again, my man. I think it's the throttle. Come and listen yourself. So we agree that's a running. And there is, on that pipe there, oh you bandit, I've got my finger. There's plenty vacuum on that pipe. So Roddy, you want to stop it, my man? Right, hear that something down, and when I pull this out, nah, we're getting no servo. The servo's no drawing it in anything. So there's vacuum on this pipe going to that servo, just using a bit plastic connector in the glove. So that's blanked here because that line runs right along the back and it goes into our vacuum sensor, and then that goes, this pipe here comes off, it goes into the engine. So that's what creates the vacuum. So we've blanked that. So when we crank this over, that should build up immediate vacuum within that line, and the computer should be happy, right? So we've got no fault codes at the moment. So we'll go back in and we'll go into our data, the leak. So there we go, contact open. So that should go shut immediately. So you start it, Roddy. Right, my man. There we go. So that's quicker. Close contacts, right? And the light, is the light off, Roddy? Engine management light's off. So we'll start and stop her. In fact, touch the brake, and that shouldn't make any difference to it, you know. Right, the brake's hard, but it's a kind of primitive system, isn't it? So with us putting that off, it's happy. Right, so good. So stop and start it again, Roddy. There you go, that's immediately. Actually, here's the best test. So we've blanked off this again. So Roddy will start the engine. And then when he stops it, we don't hear that hiss anymore. So there's definitely something wrong with that vacuum, because when we've got it plugged in, we'll just demonstrate it because it's used. And with it plugged back in, listen to the difference. So there you go, it's hissing down. Oh, there's coming out stutter. Oh, look at that. Oh.
So it's not coming into the connection.
Yeah. Right. So after all our mistakes, it was Roddy's fault, you know. We've ordered the part from the main dealer, this vacuum pressure switch. And I think there was actually a bulletin I seen somewhere. It was a common fault. Anyway, we've took the throttle body out, and that's held in with 4 Torx. I think they're T30 Torx. T30 Torx. And we're just in at the back there, and there's a little clip there. This little clip, we'll have to bust that off. I take it we get a Jubilee clip with a new one. So we went for the 2 bits of hoses. From there, it comes from there to the quick connect, then onto the pressure sensor, then all the way along the back. So I'll rise tomorrow, and that should be a fix. What a heartache. Old pressure sensor, and as you can see, oops, it's destroyed at the connection bit there. So I think it's a fairly common problem, this. And there is the part number. I think that's the right way around. I think you can get it off the auto dock, but I'm not sure. So we just went to the main dealer for time. And we also got the bit with the restriction, which we believe is a one-way valve, because I don't think this does the one-way valve action to keep the pressure up. There's the there is the clip, and the way you got it off was just run a Stanley blade. Oh, that side of it already. There we go. And that, you do that. So you use it's explaining computers on YouTube. We say Stanley the knife. He's the man. So that gets it off, because do not pull it. If you rake that manifold, oh, there's a pipe in there, everyone. That's the pipe that comes off. So we'll call this one a fix. If there's any further update, I'll let you know. But here's a thought for you. We were thinking was, there must be a way that you just put a normal pipe into this and you can bypass this little valve without having to spend 150 quid. Because if the engine sees 14 volts on both sides, That would work perfectly if you put it through a resistor. But if this was my own car, I would do this. But obviously we're going to fix the customer's car. But any ideas in the chat how upon startup you would then get, because you don't want it grounded, because it's grounded when there's no pressure in it. But as soon as I vacuum in it, then it goes to 14 volts. So there is an idea. Cheers.